special. Friendly Hong Kong. You make a difference.
Welcome back, live to Beijing, and we're going to shift to the previously disrupted tennis competition. We had some downpours over the weekend, and it really held things up, and we are now back at the venue. Not exactly sunny skies, but certainly dry.
And big interest locally, of course, because we have China on court and also Hungary here in the women's singles competition. Wonderful facility this, the Olympic Stadium. And as Andrew said, a little bit of rain around, but clearing up here this afternoon. ZHEN of China up against the Hungarian. Well, big serve here by the Hungarian. She's on serve. And China leading at this stage, 2-1. Just driving the ball long there from the Hungarian.
So good to get a look at our Wimbledon semi-finalist from this year, ZHEN.
And I think she's probably got the firepower that's this afternoon going to get the measure of this young girl. Long there, that first serve.
Good couple of Chinese in the draw, actually. Li Na is taking part, as well as Peng Shuai. Peng Shuai took part, for our Hong Kong audience, took part in the ladies' tournament at the beginning of the year.
So the Chinese girl just taking that serve early, just trying to get on the serve, but just banging it a little bit long. She's obviously up for it, playing very aggressively at the moment and trying to jump on the second serve of the Hungarian.
So, Zabe to serve.
Yes, just a little bit long, so she's going for her shots, but the Hungarian with a nice wide serve just brought up the error there. Good return, but just didn't have enough court speed to recover in time. 30-15.
So ZHEN making the semi-finals of Wimbledon this year, and much was made of that, but people seem to forget that she is actually a Grand Slam champion, but in doubles. Twice, in fact. Winning Wimbledon in 2006 and the Australian Open also the same year. She's been ranked as high as 3 in doubles. And again, she had a stellar year. And my goodness, she deserved it, because she spent the better half of the year in 2007 laid up with a serious injury. Pretty devastating, not just physically, but mentally as well. But she came back with a bang in 2008. As I mentioned, making the semi-finals of Wimbledon. She also made it to the 4th round of Wimbledon, but that was for the French Open, I should say, but that was back in 2004 when she was ranked, I believe it was 27th in the world.
Good hitting by the Hungarian then. She steadies to hold serve. 2-all. Yes, I saw it quite attributed to ZHEN, actually, and she was saying that although she's in the singles and she's going to do her best by China, she feels that perhaps it might be in the doubles that the Chinese teams are going to be able to combine and give some of the other teams a run for their money. So, going and running on serve at the moment. ZHEN to serve.
Agnes Zabe, not one of the bigger names in tennis, but she did have a good 2007. Making the quarterfinals of the US Open, also the 4th round of Wimbledon this year. She also made it in 2008 to the 3rd round of the French Open. So 2008 has not been a bad year for Zabe at all.
Yes, wrong footing the Hungarian there. So ZHEN just the nice backhand put away. She's really going for her shots, I must say, the Chinese girl. She's really trying to land this ball very, very deep. So she's being quite aggressive at the moment, early in this first set.
can't get that semi-final out of my mind. Zheng Ji taking on Serena Williams. We covered that live here on TVB Pearl, and I'll tell you what, she very nearly toppled the American. In the end, it was a straightforward win for Serena Williams, but it was a very, very tough first set. And the big weapon she has, despite the fact that she's so short, just like players, well, on the men's circuit anyway, like Andre Agassi, she takes the ball very, very early.
Nice put away. As I said, very aggressive and very aggressive here on serve. She's got a nice break, and this will do us some good as well as far as confidence is concerned. 40 love. So she's being rewarded here by coming in and taking this ball early, and what a put away that was. Just about took a divot out of the hard court.
There was much discussion about the prize money that Zheng Ji picked up by making the semi-finals of Wimbledon this year. Big pay packet for her biggest by far. And the fact that she does have to give a large amount of that to the Chinese Tennis Federation, unlike the other players on the women's circuit. But of course, it's a very different system in China. They're a very powerful body. And basically their reasoning is that, look, we've plucked these girls out of nowhere. We've paid for their whole education along the way, their tennis education as well. We pay for the tour, we pay for the hotels. So we'd like a return on the investment, so to speak. So Zheng Ji in the round of 64, leading in this.
Money magazine will also follow Bill Gates' visit in Hong Kong, where he'll deliver a keynote address. Wednesday night at 7 on Pearl.
Welcome back live to Beijing. We're watching the women's tennis singles draw. This match, strangely, not being played on centre court. They are out on, I think it's court 1. So Zheng Ji of China taking on Agnes Zave of Hungary. And they are in the same section of the draw, the very bottom half, in fact, section 4, which also features Darina Safina, Marit Safin's sister, and Jelena Jankovic of Serbia. And speaking of Serbia, news late yesterday, of course, that Ana Ivanovic has withdrawn from the competition with a thumb injury, which had been nagging her, and it swelled up during her match, apparently. And it was combined with a sudden rain delay, in fact, a thunder and lightning delay. That with the injury, she said, no, enough. So they've lost one of their biggest players. The draw already on the men's and women's side affected quite severely by injuries. Maria Sharapova, of course, not coming here in the first place, picking up an injury that has also kept her out of the US Open, which starts on August the 25th, the day after the Beijing Olympics finish. So the winner of this match going through to the second round against either Lagostera Vives of Spain or Zakarplova of the Czech Republic. Little high, that's wide.
That was an important point. Zheng just making a bit of a run at her opponent here, once again getting very aggressive and being rewarded by that aggression, just keeping the ball long as well.
Take a look at this replay if we see it, Brendan. What Zheng was going to do, she not only takes the ball early on her opponent's serve very often, but she'll come in, instead of just waiting back on the baseline, she'll come in and take those shots cleanly early as well to try and get a little edge on her opponent. She's, you know, again, not the tallest player. She's got to jump up pretty high for it.
Save going for a big serve there. She's down love 30.
So this could be a crucial break for Zheng Ji. She can get up to 40 love, and again taking it early all over it, perhaps a little too early, too much oomph on that.
Yeah, it was a nice kick here down the tee, and Zave, the Hungarian, just pulls one back. It was a nice cheap point for her. So she'd like to see a little bit more of that, because Zheng has certainly got the momentum at the moment. As I said, being aggressive, going long, and she's got the Hungarian just thinking about a game at the moment.
Too much spin on the... Oh, it's gone in. Tricky shot from Zave.
And in as well. So a lucky one there, perhaps a little bit desperate by the Hungarian. I think she's a little bit rattled by just the strength and the power that she's seeing these balls come back from the opposite end. She tries the drop shot.
That was a lucky shot on the line.
And unfortunately, the Chinese girl going straight to her rather than down the line, but never mind.
Zheng not looking particularly confident in this point. She's staying way back. She does like to come to the net. And she has really lost the advantage here. She was up love 30 at one point, and now she's trailing 30-40 against the Hungarian. In fact, she's not the only. There's a couple of Hungarians in the draw, actually, but this is quite a tricky draw for them to get through. Darina Safina.
Safina, I reckon, would probably be the fancied one in the bottom part of this draw. She's been playing some beautiful tennis lately, come into some wonderful form. The sister, of course, of the great Marat Safin.
Yes, and in Russian, the girls have a slightly different spelling for their family name. Similar rule with the Czech Republic, or Czechs or Slovaks. So if you look at the possible quarter-final draw, I'll just run through it for you with the Hungarian up 40-30, and it's deuce.
Well, it's a double fault that she didn't want to serve, so all that hard work going undone.
So what we could be looking at here is a Yankovic-Safina quarter-final, a Venus-Williams Kuznetsova quarter-final, a Dementieva-Serena Williams quarter, and up the top end of the draw, it could be Radomska of Poland against Obzala of Israel.
Well, this is unusual. One went long, one went short. The situation is that Zheng will take it, so she...
Well, Brendan, you know, this is the psychological part of Zheng Ji's game. If you're serving against someone who you know can take the ball very, very early, it's got to put you off your serve. And there it is. She gets the break.
Some rudimentary errors there by the Hungarian, just thinking about it a little bit too much. But you're right, Zheng has been very aggressive, very powerful, and she's been moving this young Hungarian around the court quite considerably. And really, just the unforced error there, just completely unnecessary. So she gets the break, she leads 4-2, and she's on serve.
Again, I really can't understand why this match has not been placed on centre court. I mean, I know it's round of 64. It's the opening round for both girls. But it is Zheng Ji, home favourite, a Wimbledon semi-finalist.
Just spraying it around now at the moment, the Hungarian, and I must say, Zheng really putting some muscle on that serve. Serving very deep. Just talking to herself there, just trying to keep the momentum going. She's on a bit of a roll. So many unforced errors at the moment. I don't know what's gone wrong here for the Hungarian. Simple cross court there. Zheng should have been onto that one. '35th.
Oh, the Hungarian's got to put it wider than that to keep it out of the reach of ZHEN, but followed through well. Well read by the Hungarian. So Zave all over that point and breaking the domination or the psychological domination of ZHEN. Perhaps Zhang could have gone for a sharper angle over the net herself.
Yeah, Zave at least changing the game up. You've got to change a losing game in tennis. And she's obviously thinking about it somewhat. Probably doesn't trust herself in at the net, but certainly trying to bring the Chinese player into the net a little bit more. Keep her in two minds about whether she's going to go long or short. She's certainly losing the big barrage of attacks from the baseline at the moment, is the Hungarian. Yes, well, this is where ZHEN should just be pressing. And I wonder... No, she won't challenge. So ZHEN then, having got the momentum, has just allowed the Hungarian to come back a little bit here on her own serve. Boy, she's really putting some work on this ball. She really is hitting the serve as hard as she possibly can. Going very deep as well, and it's causing the Hungarian all sorts of problems in a return. Another deep serve. But now the unforced errors have gone to the other end of the court.
Well, that's unusual. She's been such a disciplined player all year. There's the Hungarian players' box. Zave getting some support for hanging in there. So again, there's a view of what is obviously not centre court. So ZHEN, the home favourite, pushed out onto one of the outer courts here at this brand new purpose-built tennis centre. Wonderful arena for centre court, around 18,000 spectators, which really makes this very much, Brendan, like a Grand Slam. In fact, in an Olympic year, it is unofficially looked on as the Grand Slam, fifth Grand Slam, I should say. And when Steffi Graf pulled off a calendar Grand Slam in 1988, the first one since Margaret Court, I believe, she also won the Seoul Olympics, making it 5, and they called it the Golden Slam that year. Well, indeed, I'd say you're absolutely right, Andrew, and the calibre of the players here is pretty impressive. And I could be wrong, but I think that might be Peng Shuai. I think you might be right. But you were mentioning before about prize money and having the Chinese girls having to surrender it. Was a similar situation some years ago in Russia, wasn't it? When the Russian players out on the circuit, in particular the men, I can remember having to surrender their prize money in the old days. But these days, of course, with the liberalisation over there in Russia, some of their top players now are probably some of the richest guys in the federation. Yeah, it's certainly a free market over there. The Chinese players don't have to surrender all their prize money, but they do have to hand over quite a large chunk of it. And again, the Chinese authorities say, well, it's just a straight business deal. It is merely paying back years and years of investment. Well, I can understand it, because the same questions are asked in Australia as well, of course. I mean, the amount of money that goes into junior development, and then these kids turn around and walk away and say that they're not available for the Davis Cup. Absolutely right. And I think it probably would give them a little bit of discipline. Pay back some of their dues to the Australian taxpayer. So what's happening here? Well, this is interesting. Well, I've never seen a senior official on court discussing towels with a player in the middle of a tournament. I'd like to have a look at some of the unforced error stats here as well, because Zave was certainly notching up a few in the game before last, in game number 6 of this first set. Then Chinese girl had a few of her own. So maybe just a few nerves out there. This is the Olympic Games after all.
It's an unusual tournament in terms of it only coming around once every 4 years.
It's also an unusual tournament when you take a look back at some of the winners, particularly on the men's side. It's notorious for unexpected winners. Over the years, we've had Marc Rosset of Switzerland, Miroslav Masic of the former Czechoslovakia. Mind you, when he did win, he was at the top of his game before he packed it in with a serious back injury at the age of 26.
Yeah, the cat.
Yes, the cat. And going back to the last Olympics, who would have thought that a Chilean named Nicolas Massou would have picked up the gold medal there? Not only that, but playing in the final was Marty Fish of the United States. He's always been a journeyman player. Roger Federer, the great irony is that he's never won an Olympic gold medal, and he has certainly been on the scene long enough to have prevailed. But he's still in the draw here. He's won his opening match today, so maybe Roger Federer can perhaps cap off what has been a disappointing first half of the year for him.
Well, this match here is at a very intriguing stage because we've seen the momentum swing from one end of the court to the other. And we can see that the Hungarian has obviously thought about what's been going on. She's changing up her game as well. She's coming into the net, she's attacking. Just banging away on the baseline obviously wasn't giving her the percentage that she wanted, so she's looking to come in now and put away a couple of volleys. That's gotten Zheng a little bit worried as well, and she's just spraying some of her groundies a little bit too long and a little bit too wide as she tries to clamp on a little bit more power. Oh, that was a very good serve.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a radar out there.
Well, they do. 170 clicks is what they're saying. So the momentum of this match has just swung around again. Slave, the Hungarian, serving to even things up here in the first set. Oh, another good serve. No, I think it's been called wide, has it? No. So just that wide kicking serve out to the forehand of Zheng. So 4-all in this first set after Zheng seemingly had things in her keeping. Around game 5, game 6, momentum very much her way. All of a sudden the young Hungarian has just stepped it up a little bit, denied Zheng the opportunity of the big round shots. She's attacking the net more, and she's taken the initiative away from the lady on serve here. Just pressing with that first serve. Just a few games ago, they were going in good and deep. Second serve, an opportunity for the Hungarian. Let's see what she does with it. Oh, she presses. Well, in two minds, I think, whether to follow it in. And while she was thinking about it, she just overhit it. But certainly an opportunity goes missing there for her. She should have nailed that second serve. It was a bit short, and it was on a forehand.
Zave reached a career-high ranking of 13 in April of this year. She's been a little up and down since then.
So she's spraying them around again, Zave. She just has got to concentrate here.
Well, Brendan, here's something else that's going to make you feel old. This lady was born 3 months after the Seoul Olympics finished. So just under the age of 20. She's 19 now.
I can't remember how old I was back in 1988. I think I was only about 6.
Let's not go there. Well, I was working at the Seoul Olympics then, so...
So was I as a 6-year-old.
Zheng Ji again forced back that time, but any opportunity she gets. Now that did look long. I'll tell you what, I think I saw green between the ball and the line from up here.
Well, I don't know what she's complaining about. She's got the point anyway, hasn't she?
Well, I think she also has the ability to challenge, unless she's used up her challenges for this set, which would be strange considering they're only up, only played about 7 or 8 games. Let's take a look at it again. So 30 love.
She needs a nice steady service game here. Well, she doesn't need that. Just giving the points away, both of them. Just these unforced errors at the moment, just incredible from both ends. I just wonder whether it's the pressure, the occasion. They're the double faults, 2-1 at the moment in favour of the Hungarian, but I'd love to see some stats on unforced errors.
And this is fairly slow going here as well. We've already gotten right up near 40 minutes and we are nowhere near finished this set yet, 4-all. So it's a bit like trench warfare out there at the moment between Zave and ZHEN. Wild shot, and she knew it was off the wrong end of the racket. As soon as she hit it, you could hear ZHEN scream as she scuttled over toward the right-hand side of the court. Wasted opportunity, and it's 30-all. Nice shoes. Not as brightly coloured as the Australian uniform that we saw yesterday on Guccione. Bright yellow and green. Specially made in Australian Olympic colours.
Yes, I think she's just pressing for this big serve, you see, and it's just causing the few errors. She's going very deep on that first serve. Let's see how she goes with the second. Let's see what the Hungarian does with it as well. Oh, another double fault. Dear me, so it's 2 apiece now in this match. In the space of 8 games, 9 games, both of them just pressing very hard here.
So break point for the Hungarian.
And leaves ZHEN with nothing. So Zave then, a very powerful game there. And ZHEN drops her serve. So Zave then with a 5-4 advantage, serve to come, and she can serve out this first set here. That's an incredible turnaround, and ZHEN obviously just pressing that first serve at the moment. You can see she's going very deep. And Zave, of course, coming in to take that ball and just gives ZHEN no opportunity at it at all. So 5-4. ZHEN just deep in thought down there, and she's wondering what she's going to have to do. She's obviously going deep. She's pressing very hard with that service game. I think concerned about the speed of the return and the ability of this young girl to return her best serves, but over pressing and consequently bringing on a couple of double faults when she least needed them.
Well, ZHEN may be the home favourite, Brendan, but technically she should not go through and win this match. She's slipped in the rankings a little since making the Wimbledon semi-finals. She's ranked 38th in the world. Zave, for her part, is ranked 14th.
Well, ZHEN's definitely got the game to take it up to her, and with the support of the home crowd here, you think that she might. I just wonder whether conditions, humidity, heat might be having an impact, plus the occasion as well.
That looked long. Yeah, look at that. In fact, Zave's pointed straight to it. And she's absolutely right. So there's been a few bad calls here.
Particularly on this baseline.
I'll tell you what, in fact, she's been generous. It was further than that. I think it was about half a foot beyond the line. Let's take a look at it from down the other end. A little hard to see from this angle. That was miles long.
Yes, it's been on that particular line as well that the girls have questioned a couple of calls. So it's one each then. Well, that was a big, strong cross-court winner there. No, it was out. Well, one of these players is just going to have to get hold of this game by the scruff of the neck, just reduce the number of unforced errors and play to win. Neither of them at this stage putting their hand up.
So 15 all with the Hungarian now in a pretty comfortable position serving for the set against ZHEN. No. That just might fall back in, it does, and it's spun away after hitting the line, but ZHEN all over the top of it. She's complaining about the call, but from here, it looked okay. The ball's only got to scrape the outside of the line by a millimetre to be officially in, and that actually looked like it was square on the line. Let's take another look at it.
Really cranks it around on that big forehand, doesn't she? Look at the grip.
No, well, that was obscured by ZHEN.
So this is unbelievable. ZHEN loses her serve, and now the Hungarian looks like she might be doing likewise. The unforced errors at this match, just incredible.
Just to update you on some other scores at this crucial part of the match. Coming to the net perhaps a little too early. ZHEN is
Tries to thread it down the line, but it's just wide. Got on the ball a little bit late.
Finds the tram lines instead, and we are at deuce. Yeah, just to update you on a few of the scores here. ZHEN's compatriot Peng Shuai has gone through to the second round after a win over Suarez Navarro of Spain, and she will take on Cornet of France, who had an upset win over Nicole Vitasova. So they're into the second round, as is Serena Williams, who defeated Govatsova of Belarus.
So just long. So we've got set point then on the serve of the Hungarian. Well, this has been an incredible series of unforced errors. But set point then for Zave of Hungary. All she's got to do is just hold on here, and the first set will be hers.
So set point for Agnes Zave of Hungary, the world number 14.
Pressing, she went for the big one out wide at 171 clicks, just wide. Second serve. Let's see what ZHEN can do with this. Comes in and takes early. Great return, forces the error. Well, back to deuce. One set point is saved by the Chinese.
Well, as she showed at the All England Club this year, she's absolutely tenacious. Other scores from the first round today. Daniela Hančíková of Slovakia into the quarters against Caroline Wozniacki of Denmark.
Zave once again going for that big first serve. She's really concerned about how well ZHEN is returning at the moment. So ZHEN once again has a chance and a look at this second serve.
Oh, good play at the net by the Hungarian. It's not going to land in. Advantage Zave.
So scrambling play by the Hungarian sets up a second set point for her. Just look at the big forehand. And just pokes that volley home. ZHEN was there, but just long. Second set point.
So let's not forget, you're very much looking at what should be going to form here.
So there we go, 6-4 then, Zave over ZHEN in this first round women's singles match. And boy, that was a story of unforced errors, broken serves. But eventually it was Zave who held on. She leads 6-4.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break in this round of 64 match. And we'll be back on court 1 at the Tennis Centre in just a moment.
Hasta la vista, baby. Ring any bells?
John Connor was here. Where did
Panning around the court here. Now, don't panic. This is not the Centre Court Arena at the National Tennis Centre, which is just across the road, really, or a couple of streets away from the International Broadcast Centre. This is one of the outside courts. There's a lot of matches going on at the moment because we're in the opening round, so there's a big schedule to get through, particularly as it's been interrupted badly over the weekend with some of the thunder and rain that we've had here in Beijing. It's been great, though. Certainly cleared the air. We got up this morning, left the media village, and there were grey skies, but it was mostly cloud. The air is very clean, and if you've only just joined us, I'd like to welcome you, and Don Bozarth has joined me here in the commentary booth, and Kiki Stensgaard will be getting in here in just a moment. So this is Agnes Zave, and you're looking at the Wimbledon semi-finalist from this year, Zheng Ji of China. And Zheng Ji has just lost the first set, 6-4. And it was a long encounter, the first set going around about 50 minutes. And you're looking at the world number 14 at the bottom part of the screen, the world number 38 at the top. Zheng Ji slipping in the rankings a little since Wimbledon finished. And she really is up against it here. Against the Hungarian. She's been playing pretty much the same way she took on Serena Williams at Wimbledon, taking the ball very early, tenaciously chasing just about anything down, but it has still resulted, there you go, 50 minutes up on the clock, so around about 47, 48 minutes for that first set.
Well, as long as she doesn't lose her confidence and keeps hitting the ball on the rise, anything can happen in a match like this. I really believe that that's the only way she has a chance to move through this draw, is do exactly what she did at Wimbledon, not back off at all, just try to make sure she gets her timing going. And she's going to have to hit her serve a little bit better than that. Zave just teed off on that forehand. She stepped around it. And, of course, that's the big weakness of Zheng's game, is the fact that she doesn't hit a serve very hard. So love 30. So Zheng misses the first serve, and this is really the big weakness right here. This second serve just comes floating in, sometimes like 75 miles an hour, really soft. And that time, well, I guess the first serve was a let. It's hard to hear sometimes. So here's the second serve. Well, Zave can't be happy with that. It just laid in perfectly to her backhand, and she obligingly hit it into the net. And as Brendan and Andrew were talking about earlier, string of unforced errors in the first set. Both players playing a little bit nervous tennis. Zheng is down 15-30. And another unforced error. 30-all. Well, Kiki, I think in this match here, it's probably going to be the one who can eliminate the unforced errors that's going to come through in this match, because both players are trying to attack the ball, but they're making all these errors.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Don. But I also would like to see Zhang being able to pressure Xiaowei a little bit more. Zhang having a lot of success in Wimbledon, really moving her opponents around. And today, I haven't seen any of that yet. And we know if Xiaowei got time to actually set up for her shots, I think in the department of power, she definitely has one up on the Chinese competitor. A good serve there from Zhang.
Well, she actually hit a good serve that time. It had some real pace on it, and that's what we haven't been seeing. And this girl, boy, I tell you, did she ever play a great Wimbledon championship. She shocked everybody with how well she played. And, of course, in that semifinals, she got off to a really slow start. It was 6-1 in the first set, but she came back and gave Serena Williams all she could handle in that second set at 7-6.
Yes, to me, actually, probably the biggest story for me in the Wimbledon, in the women's draw, definitely, was how she played. And not just for one match, but she kept on going round after round, playing tremendous tennis and moving her opponents around to really the disbelief of quite a few of the players.
Well, it really throws you off your game when you hit a really good shot deep into a corner and you can't back the player off the baseline. And that's what she was doing. She was picking up half volleys and at the same time moving her opponent. She wasn't just getting it back into play.
And there's Xiaowei with a poorly executed drop shot.
Really didn't move her feet, did she? You know, I don't think she expected Zhang to get that back quite like that. Zhang was really doing everything she could to get out of the way of the ball.
Well, let's see if Zhang is picking up her play here in this second set. Important for her to get some good returns back, to get the initiative in the rally. She did there. And that's what we also saw in Wimbledon. Not afraid at all to go to the net, the little Chinese girl.
That's right. Every opportunity she had. And of course, when you hit the ball on the rise, you will tend to go to the net. You can see she came right up. She actually let the ball drop a little bit, but she was trying to get there on the rise.
Yes, and I mean, Don, one of the reasons perhaps what Zhang is good at the net is probably because she's also used to play a lot of doubles.
That's how the Chinese actually made their name on the circuit at the start, was playing very, very tough doubles. So, nice early return. And there you have it. Boy, she took every ball early that time.
And she's really putting some pace on the ball now, and 3 break points here for Zhang. So she may be able to get off to a good start here and get a jump on the Hungarian here in the start of the second set. And if she can play like the way she did in Wimbledon, I mean, the players felt they were almost playing against a tennis ball. The ball was coming back with interest.
Well, she did everything she could to try to get on the offensive in that point, but the Hungarian just didn't give her a chance to do it. And you know, you can't blame yourself. She took the ball on the rise, got the low ball back to the Hungarian, but she got the high ball back, and then no chance here.
Yes, and I think Zhang, they're asking all the questions of Xiaowei, and intelligently also trying to lob over her backhand side, but just not enough height on that one. Now Zhang has given up 2 break points here, but still with an opportunity. And I think it's going to be important that she does break Xiaowei here to get some momentum here in the second set.
Oh, she might get out of this. Oh, she does. Incredible. She kind of held back on her return that time and ended up way behind the baseline. And on that last shot, she just hits a wonderful short cross court to get the break.
And it wasn't really all that bad of a volley from Sawai that ZHEN turned into a winner.
Yeah, that was just good play by ZHEN on that one, and now they find ZHEN ahead 2-love in the second set.
Now ZHEN trying to consolidate her break. Of course, a break is not really a break until you hold your own serve.
Well, that's early forehand there, and that's what won her the point. That shot would have been much tougher if she had just stepped back one step and taken it much higher, but she just stepped in and took it at the height she wanted to hit the ball. Well, she's starting now to really take the ball early and eliminate some of those unforced errors.
She looks like the same kind of focus she had in the All England club a few weeks back. Well, there we go, a service winner there from ZHEN, and you know, Don, if I hadn't seen the first set, I would have thought that ZHEN should lead quite comfortably in this match, but at least now here she looks like she's getting off to a good lead here in the second set.
I think it's a little bit of what we saw with Federer. She's starting to get her timing down, and when you hit the ball in the rise and you get your timing down, very tough to play against that.
That's another good serve there, and it's unreturnable. ZHEN right down the middle, 160 kilometers an hour, and Sawai, I think, has given up, requesting a review of that, and that serve was definitely well in. So ZHEN for a clean hold of her own serve.
Well, what a positive game. 3 dynamic first serves. And then she took the ball early in the 2 rallies she was in. She wins the game at love, and she did consolidate that service break. She leads 3-love in the second set after losing that first set 6-4. So, with the action fast and furious, we'll be back.
The Olympics on TVB.
So welcome back here at the Olympic Tennis Stadium. It's Sawai with the serve, but ZHEN with a 3-0 lead here in the second set. ZHEN there spraying her return wide, but good to see ZHEN being more aggressive here in the second set.
Well, even on that return, she was trying to take the ball early, but the Hungarian just hit a good serve, really swung it into her body. But she needs to continue to attack.
Another attempt on a drop shot, which ZHEN easily reaches. And, well, what they say is you live by the drop and you die by the drop. And right now, I think ZHEN is killing Sawai, and Sawai is dying by her drop shot. Really a poorly attempted drop shot. And Don, what does she do wrong there technically?
Well, for one thing, she hit it much too high. She opened her face too much just as she hit the ball. But the other thing is you're playing against a player that's trying to hit the ball on the rise, and so they're off to a quick start every time. Very tough to drop shot somebody who hits the ball early.